Hey guys, we're here with part 2 of our top coat series. Today we're going to talk about our urethane coatings. Now urethanes, they are resinous coatings as well, just like epoxy and polyaspartic, and they're known for their beautiful finished look, and they're also known for their ease of use. And so the durability level is about the same as polyaspartic, but they're much more user-friendly, easier to work with. And just like polyaspartics, urethanes are going to be chemical resistant, they're going to be abrasion resistant, and they're going to be able to protect your concrete floor from any kind of damage. One thing we need to know about urethanes is that many of them, most of them, are specifically designed to be a top coat. Not really, we'll talk about this in a minute. When it comes to adhesion, they're not really meant to be used as standalone products. So for example, I wouldn't put MCU or one of our water-based urethanes necessarily directly on concrete. They're more formulated to be a top coat. So keep that in mind as you think about urethanes. The two different kinds of urethanes we're going to talk about today are our solvent-based urethanes and our water-based urethanes. So let's start with our solvent-based urethanes. We've got MCU 55 and MCU 85. MCU stands for Moisture Cure Urethane. One nice thing about these products is that they're a single component urethane. They're a standalone product. They're not a part A and a part B. This actually in and of itself is a standalone product. MCU stands for Moisture Cure Urethane, and it draws moisture from the air to cure. There's actually no hardener that you're going to add to it. Now the difference between the 55 and the 85 is that obviously 55 is going to be 55% solids, 85 is going to be 85% solids, and the 55 is going to have a much stronger odor. The 85 has no odor, so it's good for applications where you cannot have any solvent vapors whatsoever in the building. Now these are good for applications over flakes. They do a great job over flakes, over metallic floors, love them over metallic floors. As a matter of fact, we've got MCU 85 on part of our showroom floor here at BC Decorative. They're going to be good over other coatings, but they're not necessarily good direct to concrete. And so when it comes to adhesions, they're not really good for putting onto concrete because the adhesion is not the same as an epoxy or a polyaspartic directly to concrete. They do leave a crystal glass finish look. They're going to be high gloss. They're going to leave a super smooth finish, yet they're going to be durable floor coatings. These products are very, very resistant to all kinds of chemicals, scratches, and the like. You could use these products in residential areas. We have many customers use these in showrooms, retail spaces, entryways, kitchens, garage floors, and many types of commercial settings. So those are solvent-based urethanes, and those are some of the applications you might use them for. So now we're going to talk about our water-based urethanes. I love our water-based urethanes. They are going to be a little bit less durable compared to your solvent-based urethanes, and they're going to be more economical. But the water-based urethanes are still going to offer excellent abrasion resistance, scratch resistance, and they're great in many different applications. We have a gloss urethane and we have a matte urethane when it comes to the water-based. Now these are great over top of acetone dye floors and acid stains. If you're doing an acetone dye floor, you really don't want to put a solvent-based top coat over top of the dye because you risk emulsifying the dye and smearing the dye around on the floor. And so if you use a water-based urethane, your chances of that are much lower. And so I really recommend these over dyes and over acid stain applications. Also, if you're doing a grind and seal application, I highly recommend using the water-based gloss urethane. 2 coats of the water-based gloss urethane is going to be a great floor for a grind and seal system. Maybe your customer doesn't want to pay for polished concrete, but they want the polished concrete look. Simply grind the floor and do 2 coats of the water-based gloss urethane, and you're going to have great resistance and protection for that floor. Now, one thing about these coatings, being water-based, they're both very low viscosity. And by that, I mean they're low solids. This one in particular is a 40% solids, and the matte, I believe, is a 56% solids. And so what that means is they're going to adhere well to whatever coating you put them on, but you need to be careful because this is like putting milk on top of concrete. You can see it's white and kind of looks like milk. When you put it on concrete, you're going to have these white puddles from where your roller has been put down on the floor. You have to be careful to eliminate those lines by doing either an airplane roller or by cross rolling to get rid of those white lines, because those will show up. Roller marks tend to show up when you're doing these water-based urethanes, and so they're not exactly the most user-friendly. But water-based urethanes are great products for protecting your floor, grind and seal applications, top coats on metallic epoxy. Matter of fact, if you come to our showroom, we actually have the water-based matte urethane on top of our metallic epoxy floor in our showroom. And the reason we used matte is because the matte tends not to show scratches as much as a gloss would. But both of these products are great, and I hope that we've been able to answer your top coat questions. We're here at BC Decorative to help you with all your top coat needs. Just come and see us today. We can help you out with all of your top coats.